Okay, all right, great. All right, everyone, so good evening. Welcome to the March 6, 2024 Recreation and Parks Commission. Hi. We are coming to order at 6:03. All right, if everyone would please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. We have been doing this land acknowledgement for about, 3 years now? And we adjusted and edited as applies better. So this is our land acknowledgement. We humbly acknowledge that we sit within the unceded traditional ancestral homelands of the Shoshone and Ohlone people, who have occupied and cared for this land since a distant time prior to the founding of the city of Richmond, prior to California's statehood, and for centuries before the establishment of the United States. As the Recreation and Parks Commission, we strive to steward the land in a way that honors its past, current, and future inhabitants, and takes seriously the responsibility of its continued care. The mission of this commission is to advise the City Council and city staff to provide excellent parks and recreation facilities, to preserve open space, and to provide programs that enrich, educate, and serve the needs of the diversity of the residents in Richmond. Roll call, Ms. Christine? That- Well, okay. Smith? Present. Vice Chair Blakely?
Present.
Okay, Secretary Torres?
Present.
Treasurer Hurlbut had a flat tire and hopefully will make it as soon as that gets repaired. Commissioner Kaiser?
Present.
Commissioner Lannis?
Presente.
And we got a note from Commissioner Rowden. Family emergency. Okay, thank you. Next. All right, so, hey there. Individuals in the audience may speak as follows. After the chair recognizes each speaker on items not on the agenda during the open forum, that will be a maximum of 2 minutes. For items on the agenda after the item is heard, again, speaking time is 2 minutes. Individuals are encouraged to send an email to recreation@ci.richmond.ca.us by 1 p.m. the day of the meeting. This does not mean that you have to wait until the day of the meeting. If you have something that you would like to share with us, feel free to send it ahead of time. Emails should contain in the subject line, 1, public comments, open forum, or 2, public comments agenda item, include the agenda item number. All communication during this meeting is conducted with courtesy and respect, and all speakers will be advised when your time is up and will be asked to politely end your time. Okay. Agenda review. Everyone please take a look here if there's anything that you either need to have added or you might want to pull for discussion. Is anyone, okay, seeing no hands, hearing no voices, I'll entertain a motion to accept the agenda as presented.
I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Thank you, Commissioner Kaiser. Do we have a second?
I second it.
Okay, so it's been moved and properly second. All in favor, please indicate by stating aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Any abstentions? The ayes have it. All right, so we are at our public comment, open forum section. Still no one?
Yeah, we received no emails.
No emails.
And there were no requests to speak today.
Okay, very good. So moving forward. All right, announcements for the chair. The next Recreation and Parks Commission meeting will be on April 3rd, 2024. We have a Brown Act training scheduled for March 28, 2024 at 5:30 p.m. via Zoom. Currently, we have $413.08 in the commission trust account. And as of current, there are no membership changes. Okay. Hope everyone got a chance to review the meeting minutes from February 7th. Does anyone have any comments, concerns, questions? Okay, seeing no hands, hearing no voices, entertain a motion to accept the minutes as provided.
Chair Smith,
Yes.
just to identify myself, Tawfiq Halabi, Deputy Director of Public Works. I noticed in the minutes there was a note about the capital improvement project dashboard. My understanding is this up and running in a beta test module available on the city website. So anybody can look at it at any time, and staff would appreciate feedback for better conveyance of information that yourselves or your constituents would be looking for when they go to that particular database. They refer to it as the dashboard, and it's in the capital projects or CIP section of the Engineering Public Works webpage. Okay?
Okay, all right. Did you get to that? Okay, very good. So we'll look to see that addition on our next one. All right, good, thank you. All right, any other comments about the minutes?
It's just a typo.
Okay, which,
There, under liaison reports, it says Commission Kaiser instead of Commissioner Kaiser.
oh. Okay, all right.
There's just an ER missing. Commission versus Commissioner. Yeah, sorry. Thank you.
Okay. Got it.
Other than that, I move that we
Oh, okay.
accept the minutes as submitted. Oh, there's more than one. There's another place where it says Commission Torres instead of Commissioner. So,
Yeah.
but let me repeat. I will, given typo corrections, I move that we accept the minutes as submitted.
All right, that sounds fair. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, thank you. It's been properly moved and second. All in favor, please indicate by stating aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Abstentions? Okay, the ayes have it. Thank you very much for the feedback. All right, we are moving on to department reports. And we have our Deputy Public Works Director with us, Tawfiq Halabi.
Chair Smith, Commissioners, this evening it's my distinct pleasure to introduce you to Tyrone Nesbitt, sitting here in the designated Public Works Chair. I'm just a visitor tonight. Tyrone is one of the supervisors in the Parks Maintenance Division. Tyrone works closely with Greg Hardesty, who's been attending these meetings on a regular basis. Moving forward, we're going to be rotating. We're going to be taking turns attending the meeting. We're going to have one by one the supervisors from Parks Maintenance attend the meeting. We want them to know what's going on with the commission. We want the commissioners to know who our supervisors are. We want them to get involved in the kind of back and forth, giving information and taking in questions. So I'm going to actually, for this evening's meeting, I'm going to hand it over to Tyrone. I just wanted to be here to make the formal introduction.
Okay, that's fair. Thank you. Repeat one more time the last name.
Tyrone Nesbitt,
Nesbit. Oh,
Nesbit.
okay, we're going to need to
Tyrone
talk.
Nesbitt, yeah.
We're Nesbits in my bloodline. So anyway, welcome, Mr. Nesbit.
If I may, could I have a confirmation of the spelling of your name?
Last name is Nesbit,
Nesbit.
Nesbit.
Yeah.
One T, okay.
Yes,
Is there an E at the end of Tyrone?
yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, the reunion's in July. Well, you know, we're all over the U.S. It's like Seattle. But I believe that the floor is yours, Mr. Nesbit.
All right,
Oh, you really
they're
know
at
me.
Hilltop Park. Repairing signs as well as like tree removal and shrub removal at JFK Park. Repairing the play structure at Berg Park, as well as that looks to be eucalyptus debris removal at BTA, Booker T. Anderson. The top left is weed abatement on Shane Drive. The bottom left is weed abatement on Bloom Drive. And that is a baseball field, basically getting it back in shape, repairing. Your weed abatement on Marina Bay Trail. I like DG patch repairing on Marina Bay Trail.
Decomposed granite.
DG is
Decomposed granite.
decomposed granite. Thank you. I was drawing a blank.
I know. Once it just becomes a word, you don't think
Yeah.
about what it means anymore.
I use that mainly for pathways. And it looks like pruning of roses and weeds at Rosie the Riveter Memorial. And I'm not exactly sure what you want me to do with this here. Just,
Madam Chair, Tawfiq provided a feedback to some of the questions that came up last time. They were included in the email that I sent out with the packet. He asked me to include that in this presentation to answer last meeting's questions. So I just put them in there, but there's also in your packets if you want to look at the Word doc.
you want me to actually repeat the
Yeah.
question and just read it?
It's up to you. I mean, yeah, you might as well.
If you have something additional to add, that'd be fine.
Well, I did read these. I don't have much additional to add to it,
Okay,
because for the most part, they answered them pretty correctly.
okay, all right. Does anyone else have a question on what was sent to us? Thank you.
I just had a question on the baseball diamond pictures. Are you reseeding? 'Cause it looked like the area that should be grassy isn't grassy at all. Like, are you reseeding too, like getting grass to grow? Or,
That was actually at Country Club Vista. It hadn't been taken care of basically all season. We were getting prepared for our Little League practices.
oh, that's all the infield, isn't it? I thought that
Yes.
was, yeah, I see now. I didn't look at the picture right the first time. Thank you.
I was going to ask about signs in general. You mentioned signs at Hilltop. And I wondered about signs in the other parks. Did we get all the signs that we were trying to get?
I'm sorry, ma'am, I'm having a hard time understanding what she's saying.
I'm sorry.
Okay, we have been discussing about more clear, more language, signage out there. That is what you're talking about, right? Okay,
Okay.
yes.
The dog specifically, because we had a dog bite problem.
Okay, and, thank you. And there was a dog bite issue, thankfully, just that one that we know of. And we put in a request quite a while back to have a, curb your dog or no dogs allowed or whatever. And we were told that the only way that we could actually make that stick is if we had signage. So did Mr. Hardesty give you any type of idea about,
He gave me no idea about that whatsoever.
okay,
I'm sorry, I don't have an answer for you right now, but I can definitely write that down and ask him when he gets back off vacation.
okay, all right, thank you.
Thank you.
Also, I think, just for the point of clarification, I think that a lot of the questions we had were more program side and less public works side, right? So I'm not sure that Public Works was going to have a lot of responses about a lot of the questions we had, if I recall correctly. Had more to do with like, policies on how and when signs are put up as opposed to more like the installation process, right?
We had been talking about that previously, not at the last meeting, but we had spoken with Mr. Hardesty about that.
But just to note, the request for a sign about dogs at Cheese Park is well over a year old, right?
It was.
Oh, not Cheese Park. Miraflores is over a year old. That request has been, Commissioner Blakely has brought that up, I think, at every meeting. For mostly, I mean, you ask about it, and it just seems really strange that we haven't gotten any progress or heard anything about it.
There was, at one point, Greg reported they had sent the wording out to be checked by a linguist who was bilingual, because they were going to do bilingual signs. But, yeah, the incident that provoked it was a woman who got bit by a dog the dog was not on leash, and the people who witnessed it thought the owner of the dog did not speak English very well. So that was
Okay.
the impetus. Thank you.
I think that's something that I can take up with the sign shop, who actually creates the signs.
Well, that would be wonderful, thank you. And considering that when you've asked for signs in the past, what's the average turnaround?
Usually about a week or two, depending on how busy they are with either striping or something like that.
Okay, great, yeah, because, I mean, I don't know if the delay is to have the proper translation for English and Spanish or what, but we had also discussed the ideas of pictograms as opposed to a whole bunch of words, so people know, okay, if you're gonna have your dog, you gotta have them on a leash, or no dogs at all.
I think it will probably be the transmission of the language. Yeah, they have pamphlets for what they print out and what our codes are. So they have to, I guess, I'm not sure what the procedure will be to have that translated into a different language. So I'm almost pretty sure that's probably the holdup on it.
Okay, well, I would hope that we have people in the city who can get credit for being multilingual,
Yeah.
so, yeah.
We're looking to get it.
But this is your first time hearing this. We're not going to bash you over the head, but we do appreciate the fact that you're willing to move this forward and inquire as to
It
how
will
we
be
can
from
get this
English to
happening.
Spanish, is what you're,
Both, preferably.
okay.
Thank you.
They were working on having a QR code on the sign also. So if people wanted to report a violation, they could do that also. The QR code would tell them what number to call and that kind of stuff.
Now, I know we did have some QR codes that we were putting on our signs. And if I remember correctly, some of those were, once you hit it with your phone, did have different languages on it.
Yeah, that's, I think, one of the things they were talking about. Instead of having lots of words on the sign, have a QR code, it would translate it for them. Or I don't know how these things work. I'm not very high-tech myself, okay? So I only vaguely know what a QR code is, and I don't know how they work really. But that was my understanding. Thank you.
Right, yeah, we definitely did hash that out, but we also remember that some of the people who come to our parks might not be that savvy, or maybe they might even decide they want to go unleashed themselves and leave their phone behind. So, but there's that. Okay, any other questions for Mr. Nesbitt?
Welcome.
Yeah, thank you, thank you. All right, up next, Community Services, Recreation Division, report from Madam Maharaj.
Good evening, Madam Chair and Commissioners. I present to you programs from the Recreation Division. We just are getting ready for the spring camp, April 1st through April 5th. We just finished the President's Week camp 2 weeks ago. We had about a little over 40 children that we served. So our camps are getting bigger, meaning our specialty camp and spring camp, we are looking forward to providing the same service to our community. Next slide, please. Then we're having our girls' middle school basketball program that's starting on March 5th, going until May 14th. And this is happening at the Richmond Recreation Complex gym. And I hope we also attract a lot of girls, which is nice. Next slide, please. Middle school boys and girls soccer league is also planned. We just closed the registration on February 15th. At this point, I'm not sure how many teams we have, but we are serving grades 6 through 8. The program runs from April 14th to May 30th. Then we are also having a boys middle school basketball league that started in January, but it's going to end on May 10th, and that's also happening at the Richmond Recreation Complex. Swim lessons. We just started the March session, and we are opening the next session on April 1st. And I believe all the levels are listed on the left-hand side: jellyfish, sea turtles, dolphins, sharks, adult and teen programs. And our classes get full. We get a lot of complaints about that, which shows that we are doing well. Next slide, please. This year, for the first time, we are organizing a floating egg hunt at the Richmond Swim Center. I had seen this activity at different agencies, and in conversation with our aquatic coordinator, we've been discussing this for a while, and this year she finally decided she'll go ahead with this, and that's on March 16th. And if you know of little kids, please invite them to come to our floating egg hunt. And then we are also having the spring egg hunt at Nickel Park on March 23rd. And we've been doing this for a while, and hopefully this year we will make it bigger. And we are also hiring for summer. We've already started on the process. We've received quite a few applications, and we will continue to hire until we have enough staff. Hopefully, we get all the staff that we need for all the summer camp sites, and we won't have an issue with staff shortage. Any questions for any of the slides?
Could you go back to the dates for the middle school basketball league for boys? And I think the girls one, I missed the dates as well. They're just really small. Let me see.
Oh. It's March, girls' middle school basketball is March 5th
Through
through May
14th.
14th.
14th, thank you. And then for the boys?
For the middle school basketball for the boys is started January 26th, ending on May 10th.
Thank you.
And we have something else to present to you. This came by way of a grant, and we are very excited to share with you what we have done. So this has to do with the Youth Outdoors Richmond Program Grant. We had worked with the State Department to receive a grant in the amount of $700,000 for a 3-year program. And this was, like I said, funded by the California Outdoor Equity Grant Program. The goal of this grant is for Richmond youth, middle and high school aged youths, to appreciate their local parks through service programs and to expose the youth to outdoor activities in local East Bay Regional and state parks. This program runs seasonally. We started last fall. In spring, we held 8 weeks of a 8-week program, twice a week, and then in the summer, a 2-week program. The activities for these programs included service projects such as environmental education, camping, hiking, sailing, kayaking, fishing, biking, and there were other activities. Then program for the summer last year, we completed 2 summer cohorts, 4-week total, and they went camping. And then this fall, we are going to have an 8-week program. We had a one-day activity last year during the winter time. And this spring, we are going to have another session starting on March 16th. So I would like to present to you the activities we've already done, pictures from these activities. And that's the end of our slides. Now that goes to Janae, who wrote the grant for us, Tate and Stephanie for coordinating activities, and at some of the activities were also handled by Janae because during the summertime, we didn't have enough staff to go on camping trips, so some of the activities that was happening, even though she's a grant writer, she volunteered herself to help us out when we were really lacking staff. And it's amazing that they were able to do all this, especially for this age group. That's a group that we have not been serving all these years to this degree. Occasionally we would, but our focus now is to reach out to this age group, the middle schoolers and the teenagers, so that we can continue to work with them. So a huge thank you to the staff who have worked so hard on this grant as well as program. And actually the folks who gave us the grants, they came out to have a meeting with us and to discuss the access to parks and what our parks are needing, what's lacking, and how, how they can help us with that. So discussions are still continuing, and we were so happy to participate in that meeting with them, and we will continue to work with them to see if we can get more grants and what difference we can make to our parks and our spaces.
This is fabulous. I got a little choked up on a couple of these because these children seem to be having such a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, I don't think I've seen such light and comfortable looking saddles before. I'm like, wow, that I haven't ridden in a little while. That encouraged me to try it again.
Yeah, it's exciting.
I love this, and I've loved it ever since you started presenting it. I'm very, very happy that we have this. I have 3 questions. The first was, you said something starts March 16th. What's starting up March 16th?
It's the next cohort. I'm not sure what exactly they are planning on that date. Tate didn't give me that information, but I can surely ask him and ask him to forward that information in case you have youth who you want to refer.
I now have a 13-year-old at home as of today.
Definitely, yes.
Yeah. And you, are the dates for the summer program released yet?
Yes, actually, we are in the process of finalizing our spring and summer activity guides, and I know staff were finalizing the summer camp program. And the summer camp program start June 10th until August 2nd. It's not a released version yet. I have to proofread the activity guide, so that's why I brought a copy.
Last summer, it was 2 cohorts, and each one was for a week or 2 weeks?
Oh, 2 weeks. Oh, so you're talking about the outdoor program. Okay, so never mind the date.
Okay.
That is for our regular summer camp programs. Those this summer, I don't have all that information yet. I know staff are still planning on those. But last summer, yes, they had 2 cohorts of that.
Yeah, I'd love to get those dates early because summer camps are already, they fill up, so people need to schedule. And then my last question is whether, like you said, hasn't been a lot for high schoolers until now, and that I saw kids of all different ages there, and I'm wondering if there's any plan to create leadership opportunities for some of those older teenagers in the recreation department programs. So, like the counselor in training type of situation where some of those older kids, we often have shortages for aides and recreation aides, and it seems like some of those kids that are doing this could pretty quickly be, get into a leadership training program and be helping to fill those. Yeah, okay.
That's the idea. This is a perfect ground for us to, get them introduced to doing activities, and then eventually they would be working through our programs as a recreation aide. The leadership program, some years ago, Tate and I had worked on introducing that program. We called it the LIT program, because the leadership training. And at that time, we had someone really nice from East Bay Regional Park District who worked with us, but she left to go back to her work, so we couldn't find someone to continue leading that. Hopefully, this time around, we'll be able to capture somebody great who can be in charge of this program. That idea hasn't gone away from us. We would love to, have high schoolers especially come through that program, and then we can train them to become leaders and go up the ladder. So
Fantastic.
that's still an opportunity with us.
Thank you, and tell the people who put the video together too. Really, really nice.
All right,
you.
thank you. I'll pass that back to our staff.
Wow. Any other comments? Yes, Commissioner Torres, excuse me, Secretary Torres.
Could you clarify who the funder was again?
I'm sorry, say that again?
The funder of the program?
Oh, sure. Let me give you the correct department. So they're called the State of California Outdoor Equity Grant.
And just last question, how many youth have been served so far by the program?
Can you go back to the last slide? I believe it had the meaning Tate's video slide. Are you able to go back? Okay. Can I get back to you on that? Yeah. I wonder if, I thought there was some data on there and.
Okay, there we go. 334 participants.
52 miles on foot.
That's great.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
That's very impressive. I'm curious if, can we get a sneak peek as to what's being planned for this next go-round? Are they planning on doing the same or expanding beyond, or?
I haven't really had a discussion with staff on that yet. I was just waiting for them to come forward. So I know they are planning. They are in planning stages right now. As soon as something is finalized, we can share with all of you. Right now, I don't know what exactly is planned.
Because I'm just curious, are we looking to tap participants who have not gone through this before, or are
Yes.
we looking to, right, because.
It's open to both.
Yeah,
Those who have already participated, if they want to come back, we will continue to keep them and then continue to recruit new ones.
okay, so, yeah, is there a max number per session?
There's no maximum capacity. I think the capacity will be determined by the amount of funding left out of that grant. And hopefully, we'll be able to go back for more funding and we can continue to expand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because you said that the 700,000 was supposed to cover 3 years, correct?
Yes.
All right, so that's, if it's split evenly, so that's somewhere around 233, per year. But then we have to take into accountability the interests and, the raising prices and stuff like that. So just wondering how we're going to make this stretch and continue to serve equitably among each of the participants each time we do it.
A lot depends upon how many staff are able to be part of this program to help us run this. Like last year, we were really, really strapped for staffing, so we did the best we could with however many staff were there to lead these programs. And we didn't use, if we were to really divide the funding by year, by 3 years, I don't believe we used all of the funding for year one, so it rolls over to the next year. So no, we don't give anything back to the state, we have to use it. So we will, I'm sure we'll be able to use all the funding because like, we are getting new applications for staff, and hopefully we'll capture more mature staff who can help us lead these programs.
Excellent.
The one highlight out of last year, which came as a surprise, was, I'm not sure if you guys know about the Filoli Gardens. And
Say again?
Filoli, I believe that's how you say it, Filoli Gardens. That's the first time I heard of it too. And PG&E actually donated a bunch of tickets for us to take the kids, and we had to scramble to get everything coordinated, the bus and the kids, and it took a lot of effort on our part. So we had a certain time frame to use it. It was like a very short time frame around the winter time, and those who went, they had a very good time. I've yet to see that garden, but you saw the lights, all the lights on there, so that's where that was from.
Did Filoli donate any, or did you just pay for it out of the funding?
We used the tickets from PG&E who donated to us. The bus came out of the grant funding, and we provided food. We bought their food. We didn't even ask Filoli for anything. We just paid our admission and went in.
Got it. Thank you. Okay, doesn't look like any light bulbs are flashing on right now, so. No? Okay.
No, we were just
I
communicating about.
yeah, it's like I can't always tell because I'm like, okay. All right. Thank you. Thank
All
you
right,
so much.
Thank you.
We have a presentation.
Okay. All right. So first of all, thank you first of all, I want to say also that was a great video. I loved it. It's very, I guess, inspiring and uplifting to see our kids having so much fun. So I think that was great. And it was all about outdoor activities. And that's a great segue to another outside activity, and that is a farmer's market, another farmer's market for Richmond. So before I start, this is a short PowerPoint, but I want to give you a little background that the City Council approved this in concept back in 2022. We didn't get much traction on it until Councilmember Robinson came on board in 2023 because she has all this experience with urban farming and and local farmers. So she really put a lot of energy behind this, and we've been meeting weekly. It's been Councilmember Robinson, myself, LaShonda, park staff, and someone else from Urban Tilth. Her name is Teresa, and also the president of the Richmond Certified Farmers Market Association, Tom Coleman, because we do have one farmers market on 24th and Barrett on Fridays, which, by the way, is going to be moved in front of the library because it used to be there, and it did so much better there. I guess customers were asking for it to be moved back, and Tom, the president, was saying, hey, it did better there. So that's going to be moved. I think LaShonda is going to bring the lease change to the council sometime later this month. But today we're here to talk about another farmer's market in Marina Bay. So let me get you through. Next slide, please. So this gives a little history. Since 1983, the Richmond Certified Farmers Market Association has successfully operated a market in Richmond. That's the one on Barrett. and it aims to operate a new market at the Marina Bay area. This market will operate every Sunday from 10 to 2 p.m. Now, the city and the Farmers Market Association, actually, we had a lease that the council already approved. It has to be signed by all parties, and it'll be from March 17 to December 31st, 2026. So this year, March 17th. And that will allow the Richmond Certified Farmers Market to use the property at no cost, and the city will not be compensated for any services rendered. This is something for our community. Of course, the vendors will and the farmers will make money off of this, and the customers will have healthy, fresh food and some other kind of products as well, healthy products. So let's go to the next slide. So what is the value that farmers markets bring to community? Well, first and foremost, it's some economic support. We know our local farmers and small-scale producers have an opportunity to sell their products. Our community has access to healthy, fresh food. There'll be fresh, seasonal, and locally grown produce. It's also a community building effort or activity because it serves as a gathering place for community. Environmental impact, it reduces the carbon footprint associated with transporting goods, transporting food in and out, trucks going in and out. Well, if people buy a lot of their food at a farmer's market, you're helping the climate as well. Educational opportunities. Consumers learn about the benefits of locally sourced foods, and we're going to provide information about that. Promotion of cultural diversity. We'll have products that reflect the different cultures and culinary diversity of our community, and quality assurance and transparency. Consumers directly interact with the producers and can ask questions, and it's a wonderful way to really learn and put good things in our body. Next. Okay, and here's some of the vendors that we have. We're starting out with a small number, compared to the Barrett Farmers Market. I think this is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It's about 14 that we have. We were thinking more like 10, but I guess we got a few more, which is wonderful. So first of all, on the farmers' side, we have various, this is Nancy Organics on the top, who will be selling organic vegetables and strawberries. And then we wanted to make sure we had a variety. So we did actually, Urban Tilt, Teresa, thank you again, Doria, for sharing her with us and for your input. We had products, a farmers group called Products from Paradise. And that includes healthy foods, summer vegetables. The next group has vegetables as well. And then we have a variety of berries from Bayfresh, organic seasonal fruit. We have Asian-specific vegetables. And we have another Busalchi farm that does vegetables and fruit. And then we have some culinary mushrooms. Now, we also wanted to make sure, even though the fruit and vegetables, that's really the core of a farmer's market. As you all know, if you've been to farmers markets, there's also some there are more prepared foods and some non-food products, healthy non-food products. So we're going to have the famous kettle corn, which is the same kettle corn that you can get at the Barrett Farmers Market. So some of the farmers and some of the vendors from there will also be at this Sunday Sunday Farmers Market. We'll also have someone selling decorative soaps and candles and moringa powder and oil and pies and desserts. You got to bring your pie home when you go to the farmers market. And then there's herbal remedies and fruit juices and small bakery items. So there is a variety, and this can grow in time. But I think we have a great display of products to start out with. Next. So this is where it's going to be. So it's in Marina Bay Park. And if you can visualize, as on this map, the parking lot there. And we're blocking off a certain portion just of the parking lot for Sundays, 10 to 2. It'll be barricaded. I think we decided on Saturday night. The Farmers Association takes care of this. And then, yeah, it'll be barricaded. They'll take care of the barricade. And after the farmers market is through for the day, they'll put them in storage and take care. So they're really responsible, and we really appreciate that. So next. So we want to market this, and we've already started. I've spoken with the Marina Bay Neighborhood Council a couple times, and I'll be at their meeting again next week to give them an update. Various commissions, like the Recreation and Parks Commission. We want to put the word out to the Neighborhood Coordinating Council and other neighborhood councils, as well as schools. This is a farmer's market for everyone, just like the Barrett Street is one, which will be in front of the library soon, is one for everyone. This will just be another opportunity, another place to come on another day, So it's Friday for the Barrett Farmers Market and Sunday for the Marina Bay. We're going to have banners to let people know farmers market coming soon, and then we're going to have take that coming soon off and celebrate the launch. We're looking at March 24th. We're going to try for that, but there's still some paperwork we have to get some insurance yet. That it's just a question of getting it done. But if we don't get it done by the end of March, it'll probably be in April. So definitely this spring, this is coming. We're going to have flyers, podcast messages. We're going to update the city website and use social media platforms. And the Richmond Certified Farmers Market Association has a website, so they'll add this. They'll continue to talk about the Barrett Street, or whatever we call it, Civic Center, I guess, Farmers Market, and then the Marina Bay Farmers Market. And we'll do articles. So we have a lot that we're going to do in the next several weeks. And of course, we want to reach out to our schools in the area in particular, but any schools. So we want to make sure we market this in a major way so it's a big success. Next. So that's it, and I hope you'll all, spread the word and join us in this opportunity to bring more healthy food. We know in Richmond we don't have as many grocery stores as we would like, and so this is, although we still need to keep working on attracting grocery stores or more. I guess we do have Grocery Outlet and Foods Co. And we have the El Cerrito Natural is in Richmond, even though it's called El Cerrito Natural. But we do want to promote this. I mean, even with grocery stores, people love the freshness of a farmer's market. So with that, I'll stop and see if you have any questions. And of course, we have Councilmember Robinson and LaShonda here in case there's some questions that I can't answer. But yeah, please fire away.
Commissioner Kaiser?
First, just congratulations and thank you. This is amazing and great. I'm really, really happy about it. And the list of vendors, and I noticed that there's a couple of organic vendors, and that's been a missing element of the Richmond Farmers Market since I moved here. But I wanted to just ask, is it planning to be I don't remember if you said this, is it going to be 12 months a year, or is it?
Is it,
going to
I'm
be,
sorry, are you asking?
Will the market be open all year round?
I think that's what we're planning. I believe we were saying we discussed that, Dory? Yeah, please. Have a seat. No, come on.
So it really is going to depend on whether or not the farmers can make a living.
Yeah.
And there's certain farmers that don't produce in the winter. So, if we can have enough farmers that do produce in the winter, actually, make enough money, they'll continue to want to come out. But for them, it's a big schlep. A lot of the farmers that we're working with are small BIPOC farmers who are family farmers, and it's literally just them.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when they're away from their farm, it's a huge impact. So it really needs to be worthwhile.
So it's play it by ear is what's happening. It would just get it really going so strong that it carries through. Okay.
We'll see. Just before you ask other questions, I just want to add to that in that when Doria just mentioned how farmers, might not always be able to leave their farm, one thing that we are doing also is coordinating with YouthWorks to get some young people to help do their booths for them. They need a little training, of course, by the farmer and such, but so it's a job opportunity for some of our youth as well.
Thank you and congratulations. I know it's been a lot of work.
Is there an optimum, minimum, and maximum number of farmers to make a farmer's market?
Do you know how many there are at, I'm not certain. I know there's more at the Barrett Avenue one, but I don't even know how many.
So Tom, who is just a wealth of information, and I did not actually know him before we did this project, and he's the chair of the board of the Certified Farmers Market. He's been doing this for many, many years. Been in food justice for decades. Started the first farmers markets in California. So he thought that the minimum we really needed was 6 to 8 farmers. So we have enough variety, and people could kind of have choices, and you would have different. Not all farmers grow all things. And so we're above that, and we're really proud to be able to bring some organic to the market, and those organic operations are actually some of those small BIPOC farmers, like family farmers. So not only are they organic, but one of them in particular, actually the name of the farm is Narcy's, not Nancy's.
Oh, okay.
So it's yeah, no, it's all good. But it's a woman-owned farm, and it's her and her daughters, and their story is so great because Narcy started off as a farm worker, and kind of breakneck speed farm worker in the Central Valley, and got really sick from the pesticides she was like around. And when she got the opportunity, she went to a training program and kind of learned to start her own farm. She started her own farm, which is Narcy's Organics, and she's so committed, like just passionately committed to organics because of her own experience. So that's the kind of folks that we're going to be supporting, that kind of family business.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you very much, because, I've been trying to find organic sources of produce, and it's really difficult. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
I know that was one thing when Doria and I first talked. She was saying, let's make sure it's all organic if we can, because that was, I know Caitlin's mentioned that too. And so we tried, but, right now we have a mixture, and,
And I was less so much all organic,
Yeah,
but like some organic, so people can have the option.
Yeah.
And I think, again, like some of the folks that we were able to bring organic at a price that people can actually afford, which is totally different than kind of Whole Foods and other experiences. So it's great.
And the other thing that this PowerPoint did not mention is, at least on some of the Sundays, and especially the launch, but we will have some entertainment as well. Like in the past, Tom Cloman, who's the president of the Certified Market, said that in the past for the Civic Center market, they had East Bay for the Performing Arts sometimes come. And others too. Okay. So we're going to be reaching out, I think, to for the launch, and maybe, I'm not sure whether we'll do it every Sunday, but we're going to figure out how we can do this and have, some entertainment, whether it's a guitar player or a band or something from East Bay Center. We want to really make it a joyful Sunday, So that's what this is all about.
So I'm curious, if we're getting rid of the parking for this particular event, I'm wondering, where is the nearest bus stop?
The nearest bus stop is right out on, is that Regatta Boulevard? On Regatta Boulevard, right out on the edge of the park. So I don't have there's not a picture up right now.
Maybe.
It's roughly about
So if you-
500 feet from where,
I'm sorry?
where the closure is.
Yeah, there's a bus stop right there.
Where the closure is? Okay, all right,
So
so,
there's, if you look at the edge of parking lot here, There's a public restroom, and if
Right.
you walk around that little pathway to the street, which is just beyond the edge of the frame here, there's a bus stop right there. There's one bus stop there, and there's another bus stop
Okay, so there's,
on Marina Way, which is the next street over as well. There's 2 bus stops.
all right, yeah, because I see Esplanade Drive and something that MEL, what?
Yeah, it's not, so Esplanade is actually just the little street that goes around in the parking lot. It's not actually the big street.
Okay,
Yeah,
all
so
right.
there's 2 bus stops actually that come right there.
Awesome,
Yeah.
great, just, you know.
And
this-
also, there is a large amount of parking that is still left. It's just one, well, actually, 2 rows of parking that so we assume, that was one of the attractions here, that there is parking and there is a public restroom. But you're right, if people can take the bus, and all the
Right.
better, saves them, save the cost.
Also-
Is there
on the bike, yeah.
bicycle parking over here too?
Yeah, there's some bike racks. There's also the new city bike rentals there. It's a state bike rental station, so you can get it from another station and park there. There's bike racks. There's places to lock your bike too. Definitely going to encourage biking
Absolutely.
and biking with a basket so you can bring things home.
That's right.
But yeah,
And it's right near, the Bay Trail, so we hope, well, some of the bicyclists on the Bay Trail will get word of it and take a stop and buy something and then carry on.
I think we have some prepared food too, so if they are biking along, they can stop for lunch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay,
So this, if we get some fruit juice, some bakery items, or, at some point, we're gonna have other vendors, so, it will expand somewhat, but we're gonna just start small and take it, one step at a time.
And maybe you'd say one more thing about the vendors. One of the things that we were doing was trying not to fill up all the vendor spots, but actually launch and then leave them open. And on the new website for the Richmond Farmers Market, there's going to be a place where vendors can apply to get a spot. Because what we didn't want to do was to fill it up with all the people that we know. We want an opportunity for local vendors who want a place to sell to be able to apply for the openings. Because once they get filled, you don't want to turn, say, now you can't go anymore. So we wanted to leave room for local vendors to be able to fill up the other spots. That's why we didn't fill it totally up.
okay.
So is
Great.
there a website for the farmer's market?
Is there
It's in the process of being made.
What
So
Okay.
one of the great things that's come out of, she asked about a website for the farmers market.
Oh, yeah.
So one of the great things that have come out of this is that, by working with Tom has let us know some of the needs that they have had. And a lot of it is around kind of marketing and outreach. They didn't have a website yet. So one of the things we're able to do is get him some capacity building support. So he's actually in the process of making a website right now. And it's going to be a website that's going to serve both farmers markets.
Right.
Along with that, they're also going to set up his social media, and there's funds available for him to update the social media. There's somebody that will update his social media on a weekly basis so people know who's going to be at the farmers market, what's happening. And it'll be for both farmers markets, not just the Marina market, but this will be applied to outreach, improving outreach for both.
And if they look on the city website, they'll find that information?
I actually tried to look for it on the city's website. I know
It's
LaShonda.
there. We created a new page on the city's
What
website
is the
around
link?
food justice. You have to search food justice to find it. It's not super easy to find. You can
Okay.
search it.
LaShonda's coming here. She's maybe gonna tell us how to find it.
I just
An
follow
easier way.
directions. It says press the red dot. That was very difficult for me. So, good evening, everyone. Shonda White, Deputy City Manager. We are very excited about both farmers markets. And so it is not the easiest webpage to find, and I mentioned that to the individual at the city who was helping us. And so he's going to find a way to make sure it pops up easier, so he knows that. But it is, if you go to the city's website and search food access, there's a webpage around food access resources. And so we're talking about food justice. We have the flyers for both farmers markets up, and then other food access resources such as CalFresh, GRIP, Barrier Rescue Mission, Meals on Wheels. So we're trying to make sure people understand where they can go throughout the city to gain access to food. But we are going to do a better job to make sure it pops if someone puts in Richmond Farmers Market on Google, that they can find it.
Doria's going to
sounds
try
good.
and get it up on the screen here so you could have a little look into the city's
Right.
promotion of this.
I believe our Secretary Torres had a question.
Thank you. I'm very excited about this. I grew up working at a flea market / farmer's market. Like my first job at 12 years old was me every Sunday. And my job was actually to give out the food stamp tokens. So my first question is, how will people who rely on EBT be able to utilize it at the farmer's market? That's my first question.
So we're trying to negotiate it now for the new market. The existing market has EBT, has tokens, has Market Match, where you get double your dollars. That is a grant contract that they have with another outside organization. So we're talking with that organization now to see if we can extend it to the new farmers market, and they're thinking about it. They hold the master grant with USDA, and so we're trying to negotiate with them so we can apply it to the new market as well. But we're hoping to make that happen. I think we will over time. It's just a matter of, we're in the middle of a grant cycle. We're introducing a new thing. We have to see what they can do.
Yeah, we started thinking about that right off the bat, and it just turned out to be something that might take us a little bit longer, but it will happen. I'm sure it will.
So we'd go to the website and enter food access? I mean, is that a button to click? Or, because I gotta say, maybe I'm just not with the new hip language. Right, I see that there, but I wouldn't necessarily connect that to a farmer's market.
I think that couple of things. This page existed pre our outreach for the farmers market. It was a page that just showed people who were in need of emergency food, where they could find them in the city, and it grew out of getting a lot of calls from individuals at all hours saying, my family is hungry, I don't have food for them tonight. Where can I go? Can you tell me where I can go to get groceries? All I need is some groceries. I want to cook for my kids. I don't have any money. So I asked the city to help me, have a page where people could go and know where they can get produce, where they can get, prepared food, where they can get groceries. That's how the page started. And then when the farmers market came along, we asked them to put this on the page as well.
Yeah, I think there's probably a way, if LaShonda is saying she's working on it, that it could be like an alias or something, website that you could just go, like maybe it'll be richmondfoodaccess.com or .org or something. I don't know if it'll be that simple, but I do know that, like, I think RPD has a special alias for their website. And I know when I was mayor, there was a special alias that I used to get to the mayor's page. So I'm sure they can do something.
We are going to,
No.
problems today.
There
Here
you
we
go.
go, one day. We are going to fix it. I just talked to, his name is Abdul Black. He works in our office. He's an intern right now from Richmond, really amazing in providing us support on social media and outreach and webpage updates. And so I talked to him yesterday. I told him I couldn't find it when I went to go look, and he said he's going to fix it. And so he used words that I didn't understand, but I said, that's great. Just go do what you do and fix it. And he will. And so we're going to make sure it's easy to find. If you put Richmond Farmers Market in Google, if you put Farmers Market up at the top of the search here on the city's webpage, we'll make sure it stands out, it's on its own, and we'll continue to build. Another thing we want to do, we will update these flyers so it's clear that one is Marina Bay, one is Civic Center Farmers Market, so people understand we have two. We also are we're developing, and I just looked at it tonight, a request for information or request to have a booth link on the farmers market page. So if you're interested in selling your goods, your products at the farmers market, either one, you can send information to the city through a form. We'll make sure it gets to the Richmond Certified Farmers Market so they can contact the individual. So we're going to be building out our city webpage, make sure it connects to the Richmond Certified Farmers Market's webpage. And so we will be doing some additional work on this.
Some of the other things we wanted to do was actually make like a weekly calendar, kind of visual calendar, so people could know what's happening on what day, like not just the farmers markets, on Thursday and Sunday, but also where you can get, prepared meals and other things. So
the
it's
CSA
easier,
boxes.
easier to
That makes
find.
sense. So with the, Richmond Certified Farmers, that organization being, I guess, the hub where everyone meets in and whatnot as far as being able to participate in this, is there a minimum amount that they would agree to participate? Is it a one-year lease? Is it month to month or for the vendors and the farmers?
I think the lease, and LaShonda, you
Is it seasonal? I mean,
created the lease, is through December 31st, 2026?
Yes, so the city, we brought a lease agreement for the new farmers market through December 2026 with 2 one-year options to extend, so that could extend to 2028. The Richmond Certified Farmers Market is celebrating 40 years in Civic Center. So they're here to stay, like they're an integral part of Richmond. They've cared deeply about this community, and so they're excited about this new market.
Okay,
think that-
great, but perhaps I didn't
Yeah, I was
express
like,
it
I think
properly.
you were asking about
I'm
the
asking
vendors.
about
Oh, the vendors,
vendors.
I'm sorry.
And farmers, how do they, yeah, what is their commitment? I mean, say they don't get very many folk
Yeah.
at their stand or their booth, and they, I'm imagining they have to pay to have that spot. Is there a minimum requirement? Because, I mean,
There isn't a minimum requirement currently for them to, do a certain number of Sundays. We believe, there's a lot of competition to get into farmers markets. This is an untried farmers market because it's brand new. So to get farmers to stop everything and come out is a high bar, and that's why you see us working on so much outreach, because we want it to be a big bang, like when folks come out, so it's worth their while. They also, I think, we're dealing with business people who do other farmers markets who know that it takes a minute for people to know who you are and to whatever. So I think that. We'll see how it goes. I'm sure, Tom has been doing it for 40 years, so he probably has a lot of ideas of why he's not requiring, so many for people to guarantee they'll be there for some period of time.
no, I get it. I was just curious because I know a lot of people who grow organic and people who sell products that they consider natural. So I don't want to point people in a direction where they're hauling their cookies from somewhere and they're not able to sell them. And then they find themselves being stuck with, so just checking.
I do feel like this particular location is kind of the best of many worlds because, in the marina, although it's super close to people who are low income and really could use access to this kind of food and everything, it also has a whole population who can obviously afford to buy, things like, vendor items and other things. And so I strongly believe as long as we get the word out and let people know that it'll be strongly supported. Because it's also beautiful out there. That park is gorgeous. And I think it'll really show off. I think of, if anybody has ever been to the Jack London Farmers Market, that this is the kind of look, feel, how it can be for Richmond.
Yeah, and cities the size of Richmond generally have more than one, so we're on our way. You know, we now 2, maybe we'll have a third one at some point.
Yeah. And we used to have 3. I
would
remember
be
there
nice
was one,
for-
I think it was on either a Tuesday or a Wednesday over by the Social Security building. And then
Yeah, I
there was
remember
another one
that
in
one,
the, in the garden, over there at Harbor Way and, McDonald.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, we've had them. I've seen them come, I've seen them go. I'm excited about this. I'm glad that you all have done the work to get this going, and I can't wait to spread the word and brag about it.
Wonderful, wonderful. And I just, one more thing I wanted to mention is, it's so nice that Tom Coleman, the president of the Farmers Richmond Certified Market, is involved and excited as well, because he has managers, and one of his managers will be assigned to this farmers market. So it's kind of, you know, just an extension for them of what they're already doing, and we get the benefit of it. So, but you're right, yeah. And maybe he has another manager for a third one at some point. So I think this is a great start to bringing more healthy, nutritious food and positive engagement for people.
Yeah, that's good news, because I can kind of redirect the people from Richmond from going across that bridge to the farmer's market over there. We've got one over here on Sundays, okay? I don't want to pay the toll just to go hang out at a farmer's market, okay? I can do this in my own city. Thank you
That's a
very
great
much.
pitch.
We're gonna make a video.
Yeah, maybe we can get Joey on the podcast. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah. Treasurer Torres, excuse me, Secretary Torres.
Are there any plans, I know the location's great, but it is at a park without a playground. So are there any plans to have activities that are kid-friendly or to attract families? And if so, what are those?
You know, we definitely want kids, and we want, you know, you know, we've talked, I don't know if we've talked about activities for kids. I think we touched on it. We talked about the entertainment and having young people from East Bay Center.
Talk about chess, like the
Oh, yeah.
full-size chess board.
Yeah, like the chess boards that we have, the chess club, and yeah, there's all kinds of ideas that we can start coming up with to, you know, maybe have some special arts activities or something for kids. But that's something we'll bring to the planning meeting, and we could plug in a little further. I do recall us touching on it, because we definitely want families to come, a family outing, you know.
I know of a wonderful mobile recreation services program. Just saying. You could reach out to those folks. I can put you in touch with them. Another question for me was, are you considering having, I know we talked about prepared foods. Are you considering expanding to like food trucks and possibly considering an alcohol permit?
A what permit?
Alcohol permit.
Oh, an alcohol permit. I'm not sure about the alcohol. We haven't thought about that at all. And we didn't touch on trucks. I don't know if that's an option or if that would work for a farmer's market. Any thoughts?
We talked about having prepared foods, like things that you could walk away with, like the roasted chicken and things like that people can come and bring home with their produce. But we haven't talked about food trucks and things like that yet. Maybe if we get there and it makes sense. I think right now we're focusing on because of getting the permits and trying to work out all the details and making sure we have enough people to make sure that it sticks, that we haven't thought, you know, too much further than that. But we're meeting, and there's all kinds of ideas, and there's energy, so I'm sure it'll keep evolving.
Yeah, and the bike smoothie thing, that's always fun. I was thinking a place for, you know, either roller skating or jump roping and things like that. And so, anyway, whatever, I'm excited. I think it's good.
Just the idea, I used to bring my kid to play around the sandy area, the beach, right adjacent to it. And a beach soccer tournament would be fantastic. Just saying.
Drawing all these.
These are all great ideas, and I think for the launch, we definitely can work with recreation to, you know, we have some music, have recreation out there, to have like some fun games for families and kids, and figure out what it looks like to continue that. But I also know that the park is just beautiful by itself, and there's so much grass, and kids are creative and innovative, and they can find fun in grass and sand, and there's bike paths, and you can get your skates. So like you can really bring your family out with something and sit down and have a picnic, and sit down and, you know, have a on a blanket, some chairs, listen to the water, take a walk. So I just think the space will hopefully provide the atmosphere for people to just enjoy a Sunday out.
Yeah, one more thing. I know at many farmers markets, people are responsible for bringing their own, quote, shelter for either shade or rain or whatever. How likely is it that the farmers and the vendors will be able to provide that? Because a lot of folks don't particularly get down with going out in the rain, but then you've got those diehards who want to go. But it'd be nice if they don't have to try to juggle an umbrella and whatever the heck else while they're testing the produce and the products.
I asked that question at our last meeting, like, who's responsible? Does the city provide the booths and the tents or whatever? And Tom answered, no, the farmers, you know, all the vendors are responsible for their own booths, which often have protection from the elements and stuff, the rain.
Just so you know too, it's actually a requirement of the permit for the farmers that they have a canopy over their produce. There's a whole thing around, you know, bird poo and whatnot and spreading of disease. So it actually is a requirement to sell at a farmer's market. You have to have.
All right, good.
One final comment, just this talk about the extras around, it just is making me think about the Grand Lake Farmers Market too, and how that is a fantastic, Lake Merritt Farmers Market is so, I haven't been down there in years, but it was always just so lively, and they have food trucks and stuff, but it's full. And I just want to say that ours is a better location. It's more beautiful. And so the potential for being even more amazing is really there. I just think it's such a great location. It's going to be wonderful.
Wow. Well, I'm inspired by your comments. You know, it does seem like people are ready and wanting to see something like this happen. So it lifts my spirits and keeps me working. So.
Can I mention something else? I've been at other farmers markets where they have a little booth where there's a free book exchange for cookbooks and for growing your own veggies and that kind of thing. Maybe?
That's a possibility. You know, we have our literacy festival coming up on April 13th. We're going to have free book giveaways. We know people that know nonprofits, and the library often has it. So we could, reach out and see if somebody could come on Sundays.
Are you collecting books for that now?
Pardon?
Are you collecting books for that now?
We actually, I don't know if you're familiar with West County Reads, but they collect books. They have a huge collection of children's books, and I don't know if it's just children maybe in, high school youth books, but and also the library itself has some. So, but if you come to the Literacy Festival, I'm sure you could, put it on their table, and if you're wanting to give some books away, it certainly wouldn't be refused, so.
I'm always gaining and giving books, always.
Good for you. Great, yeah.
So if someone were to want to donate a little library to that area, who would they talk to find out about a good place for it?
That area meaning the Marina Bay Park?
Right, specifically for the farmer's market
Oh, just
area.
for the day for the farmer's market, or to be there all the time?
It could be, be there all the time. Yeah.
I would have to look into that. I don't know that we have tiny libraries or those libraries on any of our private property, but it would be the city of Richmond. I just have not come across the request for that, so I would have to look into what that looks like.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there a place to donate books for the Literacy Festival?
So for the Literacy Festival, the way we're doing this is, like I said, we're having various tables. And if you, I mean, if you want, if you're with an organization that gives away books or has something to do with literacy, you could sign up to be a vendor. We're not even charging for vendors. We have about, well, last year we had about 28 vendors, so we're going to have to put a stop on it at a certain point. But if you would like to have, you know, if you are part of a group, you can apply to be a vendor, or if you want to just bring books to the Literacy Festival, I'm sure one of the vendors who is giving away free books would accept them as part of their giveaway. I don't know if that helps at all.
And is it going to be the same place where it was out
It's
here?
not going to be outdoors this year. It's going to be in the auditorium.
Okay.
So it's in the auditorium on April 13th from 10 to 2. 10 to 2 is a common time. 10 to 2 for the farmers market, 10 to 2 for the Literacy Festival, and it'll be free food. Yeah, well, there'll be lots of good, we have some young people from the practice space that'll talk about empowerment, and then we have a wonderful dance, song, and storytelling group, and we have a panel of local authors, and of course the book giveaways. So that's another great event. But I think we have a lot happening in Richmond. After seeing the outdoor activities video, we really are the place to be, you know? And that's why I liked what you said, Chair, about getting people to, you don't have to go over the bridge. You could stay right here in Richmond and enjoy a beautiful outdoor activity, yeah.
Point of clarification, what location did you say the Literacy Fair would be this year?
It's at the auditorium, at the Richmond Auditorium, yeah.
Okay, all the lights are off? No bright ideas? Okay, all right, great. Thank you so very much for this. Is there anything that you're asking of us other than our wonderful enthusiasm?
Your enthusiasm and any spreading the word, and maybe check out the website if you could search it out, or LaShonda can give you, I realize I'm not talking here. Maybe once the easier navigation point for the city's website, she can provide that?
I definitely will. By the end of this week, we should have the website updated, as well as updated flyers, and we can send them out via Christine and Rajna to send out to all of you to help
Cool.
us spread the word, please.
Okay, so, all right, got it. We'll look for the flyers and the like, and
Yes.
do the word of mouth and
And then we
all
expect you
that.
all to show up when we start. Every single Sunday. And purchase lots of things.
So if you were really serious about that, you would have brought us in there sooner. But you know what? That's okay. We like the idea anyway.
Yes, you do.
I think one other thing that I feel kind of that I just want to say is that the ideas that you gave tonight around the kinds of recreational activities were actually another thing that we were looking for. So it was really helpful to hear that feedback around children's activities, around, you know, the book giveaway, around all the different things, soccer, you know, on the beach, because those are all going to percolate. We're going to go back and we're going to think about it, because we said for the next meeting, we have to think about what we're going to do at the launch, and then what we're going to do we were going to talk about like monthly special events and everything. So you fueled us with ideas.
Thank you. All righty. Did you enjoy your break, Christine? Oh, goodness. Okay, where did we leave off? I think we're... Okay, great. All right, so ad hoc committee reports. Any updates for sustainability and climate responsiveness?
I'm starting to take pictures of trees for our tree list. But I am actually thinking I would like to try to get maybe two more people. I did talk to one person who, yeah, I was looking for somebody who's knowledgeable about setting up a website or, different ways to do it. So I did talk to someone who's supposed to be thinking about it. But aside from that, we haven't made any progress.
Okay, thank you very much. It's been challenging trying to wrestle folk down for information with the youth and associate commissioners, but we still have every intention of connecting with Lupe and Marion and getting this together to at least figure out whatever is going to be the next steps, whether it's specifically for this commission or if it's something to be used by the city. So, all right. All right, so I was looking on the master plan checklist, and I do believe we mentioned, and it didn't occur to me until I was looking at it, and then I didn't remember to mention it before, but I think we asked for, if not exact, but circa dates of when the items got completed, because they may need to come back around again for maintenance or whatever the situation may be. So it's nice to have this. It's good. It gives us something to focus on, but it also allows us to think and wonder as to, okay, but when in the space of time did this happen? Make sense to you?
Makes a lot of sense.
Any other comments or questions from the commissioners? No?
I have a question.
yes.
Do we have a final or a firmer reopening date for BTA Community Center?
Not yet. They're still working on the fire alarm and renovations and upgrades to the rest of the building. So we don't have a definite date yet.
So, not trying to be funny, I'm just curious. How long is our permit gonna last for this work?
If it expires, then they go back and renew it. They extend the contracts. There's a lot of modifications to the contracts because of contractor changes, and like when you do any renovation, something new opens up, so they have to incorporate that as well. So there's a lot of things that's happening within the current contracts and new work being added. So it's just continual. I'm sure we'll be able to have a little bit more update by the next meeting. It's looking good, though. I mean, there's progress. There's a lot of work going on every day, but we still don't have a date that we can tie down as to when we can actually complete the work.
Okay. Okay, some people are feverishly making notes. Okay, all right. If there's no more questions, next slide, please. All right. Councilmember Robinson, you are at the top for our report outs. And I know I've said it before, and I will continue to say it for as long as it applies. You have been, in my tenure here, the most consistent, engaged liaison we've had with the city council. thank you very much for making this commission a priority.
Yeah, thank you for that. I actually do love parks and recreation, so it's not hard, and I get excited about all these things. So I wanted to do a few things to bring a few things to your attention tonight. The first one is, I'm also the liaison to the Urban Forest Advisory Committee. And in the Urban Forest Advisory Committee, they are updating the tree list to include native plants and native trees. We talked about you, Allison, in the last meeting, and they were like, we should get together. So there's an open invitation for you to come to our next meeting, and it's on the third Mondays. The next one is March 18th at 6 o'clock. It's just a 1-hour meeting. And they're bringing to council a recommendation around native plants and native trees, and has a lot of experts who have expertise in native plants and whatnot. And so, I think if you guys just get together, you can probably have a lot of synergy there. So that was one thing. I was like, let me connect these groups.
Where?
Is that in person?
Oh, they meet at the Richmond Room in the main building of City
Okay.
Hall.
At City Hall?
Yeah, 6 o'clock, 1 hour. Third Mondays, next one is the March 18th. And then I wanted to bring to folks' attention, I'm not sure if you already know this, so excuse me if I'm repeating something you already know, but one thing that was really exciting in the report at council last night was that they hired a number of new lifeguards. And I know that there was, concern before because we wanted to extend swimming hours, but we didn't have lifeguards to do that. And I think there's 3 or 4 new lifeguards hired and announced by Sharon, the head of Human Resources last night. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. So you make sure to, sometimes you don't track all the little things, maybe you already know. But I was excited about that because I know that the aquatics programs are really popular, and lifeguard was a stumbling block. Like, you can't expand if you don't have people to keep people safe. Then the last thing I wanted to say is just like there's a lot moving on the soccer field front. Supposed to be moving last night, but we talked way too long about the budget. And I just wanted to bring it to folks' attention that the money that we set aside for soccer fields, there's a recommendation coming up to council. It will be heard in the next meeting. We did not hear it last night. There is, you can actually pull these documents down. It's a recreation around the parks, and there's a Richmond field assessment. If you haven't read it already, as park commissioners, I think it's really important because the assessment is not just about soccer fields, but it's about all fields. So basketball, soccer, softball, baseball, football, talking about usage, talking about the number of fields we have, talking about the condition of the fields and the recommendations around all of those things. And then there's a specific recommendations around soccer fields in using the $4.2 million that we set aside from ARPA that needs to be used in the near term to build out those fields. Just to bring your attention to what the overview of the recommendation is to focus on the 3 most recommended locations to do improvements there. Sorry, I had the page open before. Now I have to find it again. Here we go. So an overview of the recommendation is that that there would be short-term implementation projects using the ARPA funding, $1.8 million to renovate the grass irrigation system, softball infield and playfield at Wendell Park, including installing a new fencing, backstop, and seating, and installing a new single-stall restroom. So that's Wendell Park. That would provide a U13 field. That would be a multi-use field with the softball and baseball field at Wendell Park. And then a recommendation to use $1.5 million for Shields Reeds Park, and there you would renovate the grass, install a new irrigation system, softball, infield, basketball courts, install new fencing, backstop, seating, and conduits for lighting. And there would be a U13 field at Shields Reed Park. And that would also be a multi-use field with softball. And then there would be renovations of the existing restrooms at Martin Luther King Park. That's always been a problem. There's light problems and all kinds of problems with those restrooms at the existing U13 field. And then there's some contingencies in here too that I won't go into, and possibilities for other, I don't know where this other ARPA funding is. That magical funding? I don't know if that's really existing. So, yeah, just my little side commentary. So I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew about that. A part of this, there's going to be a process, a community process, where they're going to be going out to councils like yourself, the commissions, councils, interest groups, the soccer groups, and asking them about their schematic designs. There'll be a few different moments where you can give input. Some of them is in focus groups that are specific to soccer or whatnot, but then there'll also be at least 2 community meetings to give feedback on the designs for these 3 locations. And I just want to make sure that that's in people's radar. I know that there's been concern about investing in turf, not turf, but in the artificial turf, because you can use it year-round. You don't have to rest the grass in terms of for soccer play. And that's, people are on either side of that debate. But that's one of the things that is kind of could be influenced depending on what you want to do. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention. I feel like it was, we were able to move money. The money is moving. There's opportunities to give input. And the actual dates aren't announced yet, so I'm just kind of making sure that I bring information as much as I have to make sure that you all know and make sure anybody who's watching knows, because we're going to get some new soccer fields.
Yeah, okay. I mentioned this before, but I don't recall if you were in the room when that happened. If we're going to consider artificial turf, it's really, really, really important that we have something else there, like trees that will help with, one, the off-gassing of that turf when it's new, and to allow for some type of little bit of shade, but definitely, I know I'm speaking to the choir here, but I'm just saying this to make sure that this is on the record, that if we're going to have non-natural, non-oxygen giving grass, then we need to have some trees.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I hear you, and it's on the record, and if anybody, it feels really strongly, please do come to those community meetings when they're announced, because that's the kind of things you can advocate for, is the landscaping around the areas, that trees are included, other things like that. There was also named that some of the other improvements that are kind of optional are things like were discussed in this group, water fountains. And so, being a strong advocate and showing up when they have those meetings could win those types of things in the design.
Well, okay. Before I joined this commission, I had Tuesday nights blocked off for union stuff. So now that I am in a position where I am with my union, it makes it tough for me to come to these meetings, but perhaps maybe I might be able to send a proxy or somebody else, because it is important to me, which is why I try to make sure I say it now. But I don't not come just because I'm not interested. It's because I'm otherly occupied and obligated, so.
One of the things, as council members, we're assigned to 9 different commissions and committees and whatnot. And one of the things that I feel like I see often is I don't know that everyone knows the power that you have in the role of advising council. I think that one of the things you could do, again, it takes a little time, but you have support, is write a letter to council saying what you would prefer. You're the Parks and Rec Commission. You're supposed to advise City Council. And you can say all those things in writing and put it forth, then it has more weight, because you've been appointed to the commission. So that's another way. If you can't physically come, you can weigh in as a council, and that does have more weight. I really, like I said, in the other committee that I'm a liaison to, they're going to be giving a presentation to council around their recommendations around the tree crew, more support for the tree crew, changes to the tree ordinance, changes to the tree list, and they're going to advise, like in a formal way during council session or making an agenda item. So that's also open to you.
Okay, I hear you. Very good point. Thank you. Just have to notch out a little bit more time to actually put my thoughts down in writing and send it out. Okay. All right, thank you. Anybody else?
Just thank you.
Oh, okay. It's been a very, very interesting February. I participated in the Lunar New Year celebration at the auditorium. Unfortunately, I missed the Black History Month one at the auditorium because of another obligation, but I did participate in the Honorable former Mayor Irma Anderson's memorials on both February 16th and 29th. I've attended and participated in the Iron Triangle Neighborhood Council meetings of February, as well as their Black History Month celebration. That's just on top of my usual checking of my parks and the other locations that I frequent. I'm thrilled that I'm seeing more big bellies throughout the city that are actually functioning. Okay, I try to remember to say things when they're good as well as when they're problematic to me. But I forgot to ask you, Mr. Nesbitt. Last time I had presented and Mr. Hollaby kind of got blindsided. So I don't know if anybody mentioned to you about the sprinklers that were running like way too close to rainstorms. Did anybody discuss that in your work group?
I'm pretty sure they were only running because of, you have to lubricate the valves during winter time. If you don't lubricate the valves, everything dries out. Then when it comes time to turn them on, come spring, they're no good. You have to replace them. So you tend to want to run them about once a week. And sometimes it happens, it have to be raining when they come on. But they should only be on for like maybe 2 or 3 minutes at a time.
It was way more than 2 or 3 minutes. I'm just saying, is that we had just done a tour. It was sopping, soggy out there. I just happened to have on the right type of footwear and was able to brave it. Everybody else had to go around. And then 2 hours after the tour, it was running. And it ran for at least 10 minutes. All 3 of them, full blast. Yeah, yeah.
It explains in the end of the why paragraph, it says
Yeah.
that it was during one of these cycles that the valve froze in an on position. That's why the sprinkler was on so it was on for longer because the valve froze. So something went awry, I think is what that's
Yeah.
probably explaining
No.
what you
Yeah,
witnessed.
most likely it got stuck on.
Yeah,
The diaphragm didn't shut down.
okay, yeah. Well, I take it that that's been repaired? Because
As far as I know,
it
yes.
doesn't say that.
As far as I know, it has been
You
taken.
know, that's why I'm like, okay, I saw this, thank you, Commissioner Kaiser, but I didn't hear that it has been repaired. So, care?
I normally take care of the Hilltop District area.
Okay,
That's down in the general fund, but far as I know, it has been taken care of. That's something I can definitely look into for you.
okay, good, thank you. Stewart Playground, yeah. All right. So, Vice Chair Blakely?
I was trying to figure out how to hand over the rolling reports for commissioners to our new secretary, and I don't know how to do it, but I kind of wanted to throw it out to the commission, whether or not you want to continue this, because I did notice that it's mostly me who was putting reports on when I was secretary. And occasionally, one or two others might, but mostly people weren't using it. So I don't know if you want to continue doing that, have Sam take it over. But if you want to continue, I need to find out how to give it over to her, because I'm technologically challenged and I don't know how to do these things.
We can work on it since it's on a Google Drive. It's a very
Okay.
simple process.
Okay, but yeah, we have to know if people want to still continue that. The other main thing that I did for parks this time was I went to the Envision Contra Costa 2040 meeting. And yeah, it was very interesting. They did involve, they want they envision parks in every neighborhood, easily accessible. They're working on ideas for street, renovation to make things more accessible for people on bikes or for walking. And they have a couple of plans for attracting new businesses to Richmond. They want to put businesses, well, not just Richmond, but Contra Costa, they want to put businesses along Highway 4 so that instead of people driving on Highway 4 to get to 680 or 580 to commute to some place in Silicon Valley, that they actually work closer to where they live and there won't be so much commute traffic. So anyway, they have a lot of really good ideas, and I felt like, I talked to several people, and one of them was involved in sustainability also, so I thought that would be a good connection. I did talk to one person about the sustainability and climate change situation there, and I read through their whole climate change plan, and they are still taking input and community solicitation of ideas and so forth, but I thought some of the ideas sounded a little vague. So one of them was about soliciting grants for financial support, and I asked about that. And yeah, I asked specifically if they had a nonprofit that was going to apply for these grants. And they said, well, they didn't, but through the cities and through the county, they could apply for federal and state grants. But they said, aside from that, the county would have to figure out some way to write it into the budget. Anyway, so I intend to go to more of these meetings and hope to have some influence into the health and safety and environment of our parks in the future. Thanks.
Thank you, Vice Chair. Secretary Torres?
Good evening also. Quick update on the JPA. The Richmond Soccer Clubs were granted 2 additional time slots for the spring season at Tom Bates Sports Complex, the North Field, which is the side closest, the artificial turf field closest to the Golden Gate Fields. Sundays, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., Tuesdays, 5:30 to 7 p.m., from March 3rd to June 2nd. The cost is about $80 for the 4 hours on Sundays and $42 for an hour and a half on Tuesdays. So very reasonable, and especially getting weekend slots is that's a big deal. Being able to have a weekend spot for sports is huge. So I'm pleased to say that between Richmond United Soccer Club and Escuela Oficial Richmond Rayados, also known as Richmond Rayados, we are sharing that space to be able to bring games there. It was offered to other Richmond soccer clubs as well, so they declined. But the effort was made, and they are going to be in my custody for the time being. I need to find a more formal way to separate me from those permits and find a way to get them more accessible to soccer groups. But for the time being, Richmond soccer clubs did get access. I have requested, I'm starting an analysis of roster counts to see how many Richmond residents are being served by my efforts to increase field access. So how successful or how much more access is being provided to residents because of these efforts, and figure out what the next steps are. But I think in terms of requesting field challenge, it was a pain in the butt. Let me tell you, the field challenging process was not, I have upset so many people in the soccer world, like y'all don't even know. So I'm done challenging for soccer fields at Tom Bates, but we will hang on to the spaces we have, and I will continue to offer them to the Richmond clubs as needed. Not just my own, but making sure that any soccer field users based out of Richmond have them. And so I just need to think of a better process to make it more accessible and equitable. So pleased to say that. Spring season did just begin for soccer, and really pleased that Richmond was so well represented at the NorCal Premier Soccer League annual general meeting, which was held February 26th. NorCal Premier Soccer is known as the top tier youth soccer programs for clubs in California. And we had representatives from Richmond Soul, Manuel Martinez, who's the coach for the semi-pro team, Raul Garcia, Diego Garcia, who are administrators of the youth programs, as well as Joel Martinez from Richmond Rayados, and myself from Richmond United. So we were well represented there, and I was really pleased to see a lot of colleagues from the local area represented there, meaning that basically our youth soccer programs are very alive and very active and very engaged with Northern California, soccer. So really pleased to be able to say that we were well represented. We also talked about at this meeting at the NorCal Premier AGM, we talked about how vital it is that we invest in youth sports and youth soccer, particularly given that this year we have the Copa America, which is a CONCACAF event. Basically, it's all of the Americas are coming to the U.S. to play this big soccer tournament, right? So we're going to have big international teams coming. The home site in the Bay Area is Levi Stadium, but we're going to have that coming up. Then we have the World Cup in 2026. Like, the big event is coming to California. And so, simply put, we are neither Richmond nor generally the Bay Area, our region, we do not have the capacity to handle the amount of interest and need for youth sports in soccer in particular. If anything, the 1994 World Cup saw such an explosion in participation that it prompted, I was impacted by that myself personally. I'd already loved soccer, but it just became cool to like soccer after 1994. So there's going to be a big wave coming up, and I think these investments that are coming up from the city of Richmond are very timely. Lastly, I want to say quickly, there have been some major issues with field access for private users, and I mean non-city field users this season, in that most city and school fields are not available to after 6:30 p.m. That's a problem, especially for the younger ages. I myself am struggling to find a field to program programs for kids from 4 to 7 years of age. I can't imagine asking a 5-year-old to practice at 7 p.m. Like, my own children go to bed at 8:30. So I'm really having a really hard time with that. My own club is starting a new program where we're offering special needs soccer programs. So we need wheelchair accessibility, we need visibility, so we need field lining. And I can't find a field earlier than 7 p.m. And so this isn't just me, a lot of us are having trouble with this. There's just a lot of interest, a lot of users, a lot of groups, schools, community organizations, adult groups. We're just struggling, so this extra funding and this infusion is badly needed. Last thing, the paid lifeguard training information that you shared last month, Ranjana, is that still available?
It's like a boot camp. Sorry. It's like a boot camp that's being offered through Aquatics. And I don't have all the details in front of me right now, but I can check with Paula to see if she's still running it. That funding came by way of employment and training. The last time that I asked her for information, she told me there were quite a few applicants who didn't even know how to swim. And that's not the format of that training. They have to be able to swim, and we will help them enhance the skills so they could become lifeguards. And I believe the 4 that were hired recently, one of them came through that program. So, so I can get back to you with that information to see when she's running it next.
Thank you, and that's it for me.
Thank you. All right, Commissioner Kaiser.
I'll try to be brief. It was a hard month for me. I don't have much to report. I was sorry that I missed the cleanup event at the rec center. I was planning to go and then couldn't make it. So I hope that went well. And I had a question. The Park RX event last year was on the same day as the Literacy Festival. So I was just wondering if it's been scheduled this year. When is Park RX?
Yes, it is being scheduled this year. I believe it's on April 27th. Isn't that right? No. Let me take a look. Oh, if I can read the date. Yes, April 27th.
Okay, thank you. And then the other thing I just want to bring up in my report time is for us to think about, it seems to me that we should, like the city council, represent all the neighborhoods of Richmond. And the commission isn't set up that way. And the commission has trouble filling all the seats as it is. So I guess I have just want us to think about how we can recruit to keep the seats full and how we can recruit from all the neighborhoods so that we have people sitting up here who represent all the neighborhoods. And it's not something to solve right now, but it's something to think about. And I don't know what efforts have been put into recruiting. And I know there's, like, every so often I see something on social media that says there's lots of openings on commissions and boards, which is great. But, you know, maybe we could think more creatively about how we communicate to the public what it means to be on a commission and what it is. And I feel like if we recruited from specific neighborhoods that are not represented here, say, we need your voice, you know? I don't know. I just want to bring that up and have us think about it. And that's all I have to say.
Well, thank you for saying it. Commissioner Lanes?
Yeah, thank you. I second that, and I would like to put a request to communicate it outwards publicly that there are openings. And I was absent last month, but in January I went to the MLK Day of Service event on the Greenway. I saw the mayor pulling weeds out on the Greenway next to Dirt World. I went there with my family. I saw several other council members too. It was heartwarming. Dirt World is making a lot of progress, and I'm very happy to see that. It was slated to open last year, but there's delays. I'm assuming they will be opening this spring. It looks amazing. It's gated right now. They're upgrading the park section, and in the next phase, they're also going to fix the pavement section of the actual greenway with 2 inches of whatever that material is. I don't think it's concrete.
The DG.
No, the actual path,
Oh, asphalt?
tarmac asphalt. Okay, that. So great park for bike riding coming. And also, I just learned from a quarterly report from the Contra Costa Transportation Authority that there is a project on 13th Street here in Richmond, and I'm very happy to have seen that. It's a transformation of a 4-lane arterial street from Harbor Way to Costa Avenue into multimodal complete streets. It will include the cycle tracks along the length of the corridor. There will be sidewalks that will be widened in some areas, and bus stop and crosswalk improvements will be made throughout the corridor as well. The project will close a gap between the active transportation program, funded RAMRail Boulevard Complete Streets project in the city of San Pablo, and the active transportation program funded Yellow Brick Road project in the city of Richmond. So connecting those, I'm big in connectivity and connectivity with parks, and it's really great to hear that. City staff anticipates construction to begin in January 2025 and be completed in September 2025. So we're still a long ways, but great news on connecting parks with people walking and rolling. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, commissioners. Really appreciate your efforts. This is a voluntary position. We do not get paid for this. We don't even get a stipend for this, but we're here because we care about this city. And we appreciate the efforts that the city staff put forward. So thank you all as well. All right. Are there any items that we want to put on for next meeting? Any other topics? Or are we kind of full right now? But please, please, please remember our Brown Act training. Please do attend. They're making it so that we can do it on Zoom. All right? Okay. All right, next. That's it. You know what? Right before this, I just want to know, is there any good in welfare? Anybody have anything wonderful they want to share? Anything wonderful you want to share? Okay, well,
There was a rainbow this, oh, was that what you were going to say?
No.
Just
But
this
I
evening,
saw-
there was a rainbow, and it hadn't been raining at all. And there was just like those clouds. It was on the east. And then,
I saw it today too.
yeah, just like,
At 5, right?
yeah. So that's always a treat.
yeah, yes, it is. Was it, I think it was 2 storms ago. I just happened to be driving on McDonald, and I saw this huge rainbow. I mean, just huge. And it looked like it was landing somewhere over around, I guess, maybe 18th Street or on Ohio or something like that. But anyway, yes, rainbows are a nice pick-me-up. All right, the time is 8:12. We are adjourned until our next regularly scheduled meeting. Thank you.